So just remember, with AR-15s, they run wet, they don't run dry. So that before you put that bolt in the hole, make sure it's wet.
Oh my god! Yeah. There's no sink!
What's going on, guys? This is Burrs, and today we're going to talk about the AR-15 and how easy it is to clean it and how easy it is to keep it maintained. Now, you might see some people out there who are like, I don't clean my AR-15, I just keep it wet and I just keep it lubed. And there are some people out there like that, and then there's everyone else. Now, if you're testing things out, that's one reason possibly to maybe not do that, but it's a good rule of thumb, you know, in my opinion, to at least once a year give your AR-15 a really good cleaning. And otherwise throughout the year, if you want to do a real quick field strip, wipe it down, throw it back in, and throw some lube on it, that's kind of what I do. That's one way to keep it maintained. Or you can just be like some people out there and clean it after every range trip or every time you use it. But for me, like I said, I throughout the year will just make sure that it's wet. I might field strip it and just wipe it down real quick, run a Boresnake through it, put it back together, make sure it's wet and ready to roll, and that's kind of how I do it. So let me show you how to break this down and get a good clean on. So this gun here, Caramel Dreams, I'm not sure last time that I cleaned this gun, but we're gonna make sure that it is safe to, you know, take apart. So first things first, you want to look in there and look in the chamber and see if anything's in there. Before you do that though, make sure there's no magazine in. As you saw, there's no magazine in. So then make sure you got nothing in the chamber, put it in the safe direction, safety off, pull the trigger. Next thing you want to do, pop this back here, this little pin. That's going to detach the back. To make things super uber easy, you can go ahead and detach the front as well. And then these two pieces come apart like this. Now the part that is going to need the most cleaning is going to be the bolt in this upper. The lower, there really isn't, I don't even remember the last time I cleaned this. There might not be that many rounds through it because I don't shoot that much anymore. I shoot my other rifles a little bit more nowadays, but you can see just by the charging handle here that this Raptor, this is how old this is. This is a Raptor by AXTS, which is now Radiant. So you can see that's pretty old. And it's a little bit dirty. So you take things out, wipe them down. That's all you need to do is just wipe things down. You don't gotta get crazy about cleaning it, you know, super too much. Make sure you wipe it down and just get the dirt off. Do the same thing with the bolt. Wipe it down. You can see this one has a little bit of dirt on it, nothing crazy though. I don't see anything, you know, nutso as far as dirtiness. This might have maybe a few hundred rounds through it. And this is a JP Enterprises bolt. I did a review on it. You can see that the coating on this is awesome. This is probably the AR-15 that has the most rounds through it that I have. And you can see there's nothing wearing off on this coating. Pretty much anywhere. I don't really see anything wearing off. Just give it a nice wipe down. You can see this operates nicely. You want to check everything while you have everything apart. Go ahead and on your bolt, this one has it's kind of like scalloped in to save a little bit of weight, I guess. You can see everywhere on every AR-15 bolt. So every AR-15 bolt's going to have this little pin right here. This is a little cotter pin that holds things together on the inside. You just take that out. Once you take that out, go ahead and give it a little tap there and the firing pin will pop out. Then you just want to rotate this, make sure this is in. If this is out, if your bolt is out, you're not going to be able to get this out. Make sure you rotate this, pop that out, and then pop your bolt out, and there's the carrier. So what I do, like I said, I'll just wipe things down, just generally. And you can see that this one wasn't uberly wet to begin with. So like I said, I can't remember the last time I even used this. I think the last time we shot this was when Mrs. Burrs, we went to the range. She loves this gun. She loves Caramel Dreams. So that was the last time I think we shot this gun. Was probably a year ago, somewhere around there. And I just haven't cleaned it since then. So like I said, it might have a couple hundred rounds through it. Nothing too crazy. This is a really good time to inspect your gas rings. Gas rings are right here. You got 3 of them. and you want to make sure that there's nothing going on with them. And it's good to have those in your range bag. They're super cheap. You can get like a set for $3. Make sure you have extras of those. They're good to periodically replace just to be on the safe side. But it's been shown that you can shoot, you know, I think I've seen a report where you can shoot without them even on there. You might not have the best operation, but you can definitely get by. But it's good to have those in a bag. It's real cheap, $3. So just wipe everything off like this. You can see if you have a good bolt like JP Enterprises or Fathom Arms, V7 Weapon Systems, BCM. You have a good bolt with good coating, things are going to come off relatively easily. So just wipe them off real easy. So now, as far as what I do with cleaning, I will use alcohol. I'll use isopropyl alcohol, like this right here. For the barrel, I will use some Slip 2000 carbon killer. I don't use anything really crazy. I just want to get the carbon out of there. I don't care about the copper. I just want to get the carbon out of there, so I'll use that. I'll use Q-tips, and when it comes to using Q-tips, you want to make sure that you're not jamming them in areas they don't need to be. So don't jam it in where the gas tube goes in. If you want to do something like this around the outside, that's fine, but don't jam it in there. There's no reason for that. You get debris in there, and then all of a sudden you get some sort of stoppage, and then your gun just, you know, blows up in your face like a, you know, bad porn movie or something. You don't want to have that. You don't want to be at the range and looking like that. It's not a good look. Hello! So anyway, as you saw, I'll go ahead, just take a Q-tip, go through things real quick like. You see that you get some junk out of there. What I normally will do is I'll take the alcohol, I'll put it in the cap here like this. I'll set that here, and it gives me something to dip into, and I'll go ahead, clean this out real quick, clean up and around here, under there, switch to the next side, go ahead and clean the inside. I'll clean in where the firing pin goes, which is in that area right there. You can see that gets dirty. Like I said, you don't gotta be crazy about it. You don't gotta be meticulous. If you want to be meticulous and crazy about it, have at it, but you don't have to be, in my opinion. You just want to get some basics down. You just want to get a real quick clean. And the only thing to remember is, it isn't so much about cleaning it like this, it's about keeping it wet. And I'll continue to say that because that's really the only thing that matters, is to make sure that, you know, if you're going to the range to do a course, make sure that the morning of, that you fill that bolt full of oil. When you take a break, hit it with some more oil. Or the next day when you wake up before you go to the class, if it's a 2-day class, go ahead and, you know, squirt a little more oil in there. Give it a little bit more give it a little bit more juice before you get to the course the next day. So that's pretty much clean. That fits what I'm looking to do. The other thing you want to do is check right here. And the one thing that I picked up from Tipton is these cleaning scrapers. And what I'll do, if I want to get real into it, like I said, that one time a year cleaning, I'll go ahead and get all this carbon off of here. Scrape that all off. You can see that I haven't done this in a while because you can see the carbon on there. It's coming off. I might not have did that the last few times I cleaned this. So if you want to get crazy and, like I said, my one time a year kind of clean, you can go ahead and do this. If not, your gun's probably still going to run. Just make sure it's wet. Alright, so that's good enough for me. Otherwise, you want to inspect the bolt. Make sure there's no cracks anywhere, especially here. Make sure nothing prematurely, you know, is going to break on you. This is a great time to just inspect your parts. I don't see anything going on with this one. Make sure the face looks good. I don't see anything wrong there. Make sure this is nice and dry and clean. Then you just want to wipe these parts off. You want to wipe this cotter pin off. and you don't gotta do anything crazy there. The one thing you want to keep in mind is the wear spots, and make sure you don't have abnormal wear on things. I don't see anything crazy going on there. I'm going to inspect my firing pin, make sure nothing's cracked or wrong with that. Looks alright to me. Tip looks alright. Doesn't look broken off or anything. I'll give this one last clean there. Wipe off. And we're ready to assemble this back up. Now you can put the bolt back together now and then move on, or you can move on and put the bolt back together later. It's up to you. I'll show you what I do. So some of the products, the one product I use a lot of is Lucas oil. And I like Lucas oil. I got the CLP, which I'll use if I'm going to do a deep clean. I'll use this to kind of get in there in the little crevices and stuff and use it more like a cleaner. And then my gun oil that I use is extreme duty gun oil, and people are going to be like, oh, they sponsor you because you're recommending them. Now I use this at times. I got this Umbrella Corporation Unicorn Lube. I'll use that from time to time, but those are the two I'll use. I used to use like Frog Lube and Slip 2000, but the Slip 2000 I realized after I went to a course and was using it that it just burns off too fast for me. So it's just easier to use the Lucas gun oil because it doesn't burn off as fast, so I don't have to replace it as fast, if that makes sense. Let's talk about the upper. What do you do to clean your upper? Well, it's pretty simple. You can get in here and clean things with a Q-tip like this. You could just simply wipe them down. You want to get in here the chamber. I like to get into the chamber. Just get that in there a little bit and all the little nooks and crannies. You can see this is somewhat dirty. Or you could just take a cloth of some sort and just get it in there. Just clean it like this. Plug that hole. You can see it got some stuff off of there. It looks relatively clean. Using the alcohol that I like to use, the 91% alcohol, you're going to, that's going to die off after a little bit of time and evaporate, so you don't have to worry about that really causing any problems. What are we going to do here? Well, you can wipe off the trigger and wipe things down. Some people lube their buffer tube. I do not, because I don't really see a need for it. If you have a good chrome silicone ring or spring, you don't really have to worry about lubing it up because that's part of it. Usually there's coatings on those springs, the good ones out there, so you don't have to worry about it. So I'll just wipe things down, make sure again you're inspecting everything and you're looking over everything, you're testing out your function of everything, and it's good to go. As far as cleaning the bore, I keep it real simple. What do I like to do? I like to use a Boresnake. This is like an original Boresnake. It's not like the extreme one like this one. This is like a 308 30 caliber one I have. It's not, this is like the Viper or something or other, but this is like the original 22 caliber or whatever. Boresnake I got a long time ago, and what I do is I will take some of this bore cleaner, shake it up. I'll go ahead and put this on the front end. So this is the first part that's going to hit the bore. So I'll put the carbon cleaner on here. And then I will take the gun oil and I will put that behind or after. That way you get a little protection in your barrel, especially if you're going to be putting this away and storing it. So I'll put a little bit of that on the back end, and then I will run this through the upper. And if you've never used a Boresnake before, all you gotta remember is you pull it out through the way the gun goes. Boom. The way the bullet travels. You don't want to go the opposite way. You just pull that through. Super easy. And you got a nice clean bore. Don't pull it back towards you. Pull it away from you the way the bullet goes already. Do that with any gun and you're going to be alright. Then what you're going to want to do is reassemble and lube up the bolt. And a lot of people have a lot of different ways to do that. Again, I like to keep it relatively simple. I've never really had a malfunction with any of my gear in terms of major malfunctions due to not lubing it right, or etc. So here's what I do. Alright, so bolt reassembly, what do? I take the bolt, I go ahead and go around the little area right here where it seals. It's a little more bumped up. I'll go ahead and hit that with some oil. And yes, this looks like a wet bolt because I already did this once and the camera shut off on me and I didn't realize it, so I'm doing it again. So I'll go ahead and put that in there. Then what I'll do, I'll take the pin here, and remember, if you're looking at your bolt like this and your extractor, which is right here, is over to the right, that's the only way this can go in. So you actually can't put this in wrong, so that's cool. Then I'll go ahead and wrap my hand around the middle part here. I will take the firing pin, drop it down in there. You can see that that puts it right where it needs to be. Go ahead and take the cotter pin, put that in, and you might have to look it into the hole in this side. Oh yeah, you see that? Yeah. So go ahead and put that in. Pop that back, pop the bolt back, and then I will put oil, gun oil, down into that hole right there. That's going to keep the bolt nice and operational. Then what I do, and this bolt's going to be extra juicy because I never put this much oil in, but it runs wet, not dry, so keep that in mind. So there's 4 rails here that actually ride on the upper. They're right here. There's 2 on the bottom, not right here, not this middle part. Some people put oil right here because it hits the trigger. I've never done that. There's a rail right here, and then there's a rail right here, and I'll hit those areas with oil, and then I will go ahead and reassemble. Before I reassemble, I'll put a little bit of oil on the stick right here and make sure I got that nice and lubed. Then to reassemble, I will go ahead and put the charging handle in like that. Make sure that your bolt is all the way out, and then put it in like that. Then you just reassemble the upper and the lower back together like that, like that. Then you're going to do your function check. So you are going to so then you're going to do a function check. So you're going to go ahead, charge the weapon, make sure you're pointing in a safe direction, turn the safety on, doesn't fire, safe direction, pull the trigger, fires, go ahead, safe direction, fire, hold, check the reset. Good reset with this ALG Defense Act Trigger, Action Combat Trigger, something or other. We're good to go. So that's all I do. Pretty simple. You don't gotta make it too complicated. A lot of people make it complicated, and they, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be complicated at all. It really shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to do this. And you do this once a year, and then the rest of the year you just kind of wipe things down real good, and then make sure it's oiled. You should be good to go. So if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. If you guys have some cool products that I don't know about, and maybe I should, like I use the Slip 2000 bore cleaner and Lucas oil, extreme duty gun related products, and unicorn lube and stuff I showed you. If you guys use different stuff that you like, go ahead and put it in the comments down below so we all can see it. And until next time, later.